Welcome to the True Man Podcast. This is an invitation to radical reconstruction of a man's masculine heart and soul in a place of safe community where we dare to ask questions deep seated inside a man and explore ways to help you become a better man, a better son, a better dad, and a better spouse. Well, thank you for joining me here today. As always, I move into podcast number, believe it or not, 198. Totally hard for me to wrap my arms around that. And when we get to 200 a couple weeks from now, I'm going to lay out what 200 means to me and what I've boiled it down to. So you don't want to miss that because boy, oh boy, there's been a lot of information come out over the last couple of years. A lot of things that I've learned, of course. I mean, you wouldn't do this if you weren't curious. At least I wouldn't think somebody would do it if they weren't curious and having this yearning to learn. And so there's been a lot of that has happened over the last couple of years. And also, don't forget my book, True Man, True Ways, a Roadmap of Discovery to the Masculine Heart, is now available. And you can find that on my website. Very simply, go to truemanlifecoaching.com. Just click on that header books. It's going to take you over there to the True Man, True Ways book, and it'll just glide you right on out there to Amazon. We couldn't have made it any easier. And we all know how easy it is to just go hop on and buy stuff on Amazon. And also, let me just say this along with the book. If you have a group or you'd like me to come speak about the book or some of the topics that are in the book, just reach out to me as well. Drop me an email. My calendar's online. You can send me an email at mike@truemanlifecoaching.com. I'd love to chat with you. Always love sharing, my story and sharing the book and how to become a true man with other men. So let's get down to it today. It's why you're here, the podcast. So I'm going to do something that I don't think I've done this before. I don't typically do a lot of series. Not that I thought of it that way really until I sat down and started working with this. But over the last couple of weeks, I'm going to try to tie some stuff together here. Over the last couple of weeks, podcast number 196, entitled Breaking Free from the Comfort Zone, The Truth About Success and Fear. And podcast 197 from last week, Greatness versus the Defeatism of Playing Small. I'm going to talk about what these two have in common and tie it together with today's lesson, which I think is really important. Another important term, being courageous. Courageous and submitting ourselves to God. Not something, that's necessarily easy to do sometimes, but we're going to talk about being courageous. And I think, comfort, as we circle back a couple of weeks, we talked about comfort and discomfort. And I think comfort, playing it small, and having the courage to change all play ball together. So let's kick off this discussion. Now let's talk about one thing that really no one wants to admit, but every man feels, right? And that is the magnetic pull of comfort. We all want to be comfortable. Well, it's subtle, it's deceptive, and it's deadly to the calling that God has placed in your life when you get comfortable. Comfort tells you that safety is king, predictability is peace, and mediocrity is wisdom. But is that true? Because what I've come to find out is that comfort is a liar. So today I want to call out that trap that we can sometimes fall into. And I want to call you into something higher, something greater. So this is a conversation about having the courage to submit to God, the boldness to pursue the call, and the grit and determination to keep going, even when fear is breathing down your neck. Now, this isn't hype. It's not what this is all about. This is about heart. I'm going to take it a step further today, and I'm going to call it having the heart of a lion. Now, if you're anything like me, having a heart of a lion instead of a puppy dog, we like puppy dogs. My dog is sitting in the background listening to another podcast recording. We like puppy dogs, but you need to have the heart of a lion. And just I'm right alongside you doing the work as well. So don't think I'm pointing fingers. I'm right alongside you trying to figure this game out. So let's name an enemy here again. Comfort. That comfort zone isn't a physical place. It's a mindset. It's the mental and emotional boundary where you stay where it's safe. You stay where it's known and you stay small in that instance. And it's the reason that your dreams, in some cases, haven't come to life. It's why you haven't launched that business. It's why you haven't had that tough conversation. Or finally, maybe it's because you haven't committed to that higher version of yourself. Now, the comfort zone is a prison disguised as peace. And the more you stay in it, the more it convinces you that life out there beyond the walls of the room you're in is too risky, too uncertain, too painful. But guys, you know that's a lie. You were never meant to play small. You weren't born to survive. You were born to rule, born to reign, and reflect the glory of God in how you lead your life. And that will never happen inside your comfort zone. So now let's move on here and talk a bit about that comfort zone and fear. So fear is the gatekeeper to greatness, isn't it? Fear isn't really the problem. The problem is your relationship with it. And most men treat fear, and a lot of people in general that I meet, treat fear like it's a signal to stop, when really it is a signal to go. See a green light, not a red one. Fear is proof that you've stepped into something meaningful. Fear only shows up when the outcome matters. So if you're feeling afraid, congratulations. You're near the edge of some form of transformation. But here is the deal. You got to push through it. Boy, oh boy, do I know that well. Because the cost of staying in fear is living small, predictable, in a forgettable life. And that's not what God put you here to do. Now, when Peter stepped out of the boat to walk on water, he didn't do it because he wasn't afraid. He did it because Jesus called him and he had the courage to move despite his fear. Now, the miracle didn't happen on the boat, it happened in the risk, didn't it? And if you want miracles in your life, if you want movement, you've got to step out of the boat. Now, there's a reason that scripture describes, I'm going to talk about the lion again, describes Jesus as the Lion of Judah. You know, if you're like me, you went to Sunday school and we always had that picture resonating in our head about Jesus and the Lamb. And well, that does have meaning. Isn't it much more fun to think about Jesus as a lion? A lion that doesn't back down, a lion that doesn't retreat, a lion owns its territory. And guess what? You were made in Jesus' image. You've got that same lion heart inside of you. But the problem is, most men have muzzled their roar. Life has beat you down. Culture has softened you, and fear has tamed you. That lion is still in there. It's just waiting for you to give it permission to rise. Now, courage isn't about being fearless, having that heart of a lion. Courage is about choosing to advance even when your knees are shaking. It's about honoring God with your grit, submitting to his will when it's inconvenient, and going after the goal when everything you want says play it safe. Stay on first base. Don't go to second. It's about getting back up after failure and saying, I'm not done yet. So let me tell you a story. Let's talk about some lions some more. There were two lions in the wild, both brothers. Both were born with strength in their blood and royalty in their bones. One stayed near the pride. He never ventured too far. He found a good resting spot, kept his routine, avoided unnecessary fights, and lived a quiet life. Well, the other iron lion, he roamed. He took risk. He got scars. He lost fights and he pushed the limits of the territory. But in doing so, he found a new water source, claimed new ground, and protected his pride with unmatched curiosity. And he wasn't always comfortable, but he was always growing. One lion lived safe, the other lived bold. Guess which one they tell stories about. Yet you get one shot at life. Don't let your story be about safety. Let it be about courage, about purpose, and about impact. So let's bring this down to you, the kind of courage that you need today. Well, it's the courage to pick up the phone and make the hard call. It's the courage to ask for forgiveness from your wife and your children. It's the courage to admit you've been playing small and make a bold decision to shift. It's the courage to open your Bible, get on your knees, and ask God what He wants from your life, not what feels comfortable. And I will tell you that courage isn't flashy. It's not just for battlefield moments. Courage is right there in the day-to-day choices that shape the man you're becoming. Let's look at some men in the Bible who stepped up. You know, there were some great men that God used in the Bible. Abraham left his home not knowing where he was going simply because God said go. Moses returned to Egypt, the place of his failure, to set people free. Gideon led an army while trembling. David ran toward Goliath when others ran away. And Joseph, well, he rose to influence through betrayal, slavery, and prison because, well, he never gave up. And of course, Jesus, the Lion himself, submitted to the will of his Father and faced the cross for the sake of your freedom. Now, none of these men were perfect except for Jesus, of course, but they were willing. And willingness precedes greatness. You don't get one without the other. So let's talk a little bit more about playing small. There's this myth that playing small is humble. That setting modest goals and avoiding attention is somehow the righteous thing to do. But that's not humility. That's fear wearing a disguise. Humility isn't thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less so you can think more about what God has called you to do for others. And the best way to honor Him is to maximize the life He gave you. And that means chasing your potential, going after it. That means building something. That means risking failure. And that means embracing greatness, not for your glory, but for His. Playing small really is a slow death of the soul, and greatness is your inheritance. But you got to claim it. You got to go out there and claim it. So let's not forget, submitting to God is one of the highest forms of courage. Why? Because it means surrendering control. It means trusting Him even when the path is unclear. It means doing what's right even when it's not popular. It means obeying even when you're afraid. So submission isn't weakness. It really is the ultimate strength. It's a man saying, God, I'm yours. Use me, send me, shape me. And that kind of submission shakes hell to death. The evil one does not like it. I'm giving you permission to disturb him today. And when you submit to God, you stop living for safety and start living for significance. Now, men, this isn't learned or done overnight as much as we wish it could be. If it was, I personally would have figured out this game of life, and imagine the nuggets I'd be dropping on you right now. Submission isn't easy. It is a daily battle, and it's a battle that I believe is worth fighting, and I hope you do as well. Now, here are three things you've heard me talk about over the last couple of weeks, three kind of pillars that come up quite a bit. So, to pursue the life that you were made for, let's talk about wisdom, wealth, and wellness again, and how all this kind of ties together in those three areas. So, Proverbs 3 reminds us of wisdom is more valuable than gold. You must be a man who seeks truth, understanding, and discernment. Read, study, pray, learn from others, get coaching. Wise men win, don't they? And I got to say, wisdom takes courage. Going after it. I hear so many people say, I read this, I read that. This is, I know it. Really? How are you applying it? It takes, anybody can read a book. It takes courage to explore what's in it. And how about wealth? Money is not the enemy. Too many people say this. In the hands of a good man, wealth is fuel for impact. It provides freedom, resources, and legacy. Don't fear success, steward it. Man, wealth is not an enemy unless you want it to be an enemy. And think of the good things you can do as a result of it. And let's face it, for many people, me included, chasing wealth comes with risk. And that sometimes feels uncomfortable. But if you pursue it, if you spend time with God in prayer, wealth will come your way. And it's not just financial. It circles back to wisdom as well. And how about that last one, wellness? Guys, remember, your body is your engine. If your body breaks down, your mission suffers. Be strong, man. Train, eat clean, rest well. Don't just survive, thrive. When you pursue these three and many others, really, and you're rooted in faith, you become dangerous in a good way, in the best possible way. How does that sound to you? Isn't that something you want to pursue? Now, maybe you're standing on the edge of your next big move. You feel the fear, right? When this happens sometimes. You hear the voices telling you, wait, hold on. But I'm telling you this. Burn the ships. There's no going back, no retreat, no playing small. Make the call, launch the business, write the book, have the conversation, start the ministry, step out, step up, and step forward. Because if you don't, you'll regret it. And you don't want to look back with regret. In fact, you want to look forward at legacy. But the comfort zone won't comfort you in the end. It will choke that legacy. So in closing here, here's your challenge. This week, I want you to identify an area where you've been playing small. Just one. You don't have to have a laundry list. Just start with one. Where have you let fear rule you? Where have you settled for comfort? Where have you postponed your obedience? Just write down the answers to those questions. Journal them. Look yourself in the eye and take a bold step. And if you're going, well, you know, I've written this down and I really would like to have a conversation about it. Well, hey, reach out to me. Send me an email, make the investment, have the conversation, start a habit. Send me an email at mike@truemanlifecoaching.com. Always happy to have the conversation with you. Don't start tomorrow, do it today. Give yourself an opportunity to have the heart of a lion. And friend, the world will hear you roar when you do. You are not a mistake. You are not weak. You are not helpless. You are a beloved son of God, a lion in the making, a warrior with a mission. So rise up, brothers. Submit to the Father, embrace the discomfort, lean into the fear, and step into the life that God carved out for you before the foundation of the world. You weren't made to play small. You, friend, were made to move mountains. And it's time. It's time to start doing the work. So if you're ready to take action again, um, reach out. My calendar is on my website at truemanlifecoaching.com. You can always send me an email at mike@truemanlifecoaching.com. And let's start the conversation. Let's work through this together. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Again, we're moving closer to 200. Such a great pleasure to spend time with you each and every week. And I'll say this. If you have a podcast idea, if you have something you'd like to hear, if there's something that you're unclear of, boy, I have a lot of fun being curious and researching these topics. Let me know. And heck, talk about danger and risk. Maybe we'll put you on and do it together and work through it together. But until next week, men, go out and be courageous. Be courageous this week. Have the heart of a lion and go out and make this your very, very best week ever. God bless you. Thanks for listening.